I'll never forget when I was 16 years old, I was walking through the mall with my best friend Richard, and he walked up to this kiosk and he walked away from it with a brand new Sidekick phone. Do you remember that one that flipped out? I imagine he didn't pay for that phone in full, and I'm pretty sure he entered into a 2-year agreement, but that was a super cool phone. I don't think mom was too happy when he came home with that new 2-year plan and phone that he had financed, but it's funny how much has changed, but also so little. While it used to be cool to pay a lot of money for those brand new phones that had Snake on it and keyboards built in, it is no longer cool to pay a lot of money for your phone or your plan. So let's talk today about how you can save money on your cell phone. Also, does that game Snake still exist? What's up guys, my name is Frankie. This is The Money Resolution, where we talk all things personal finance. I put out videos roughly once a week, so if you want more content like this one, be sure to subscribe down below. And if you get some value out of this video by the end, be sure to tap that like button. A lot of people do not shop their cell phone plan, because after all, we'd rather pay for convenience. But what's inconvenient is paying way too much money for your cell phone each and every month. And there are so many options out there. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 12 tips for how to save money each month on your cell phone plan. Dave Ramsey reported that JD Power reported that the average cell phone plan for households is $153, and for individuals, $73. And after what I call the big three, housing, food, and transportation, your cell phone might just be the next biggest expense that you have each month. And that is not okay. So let's get to fixing that right now. Definitely stick around for tips 4, 5, and 6, where I'm going to talk specific carrier plans and pricing. And for all the tips ahead, be sure to check out the description for the timestamp to find what you're looking for. Number 1 is probably the easiest thing on this list that you can do in a matter of minutes, and this is to opt for paperless billing and also automatic payments. So in most cases, you can save $5 to $10 by opting for this. T-Mobile, for example, will give you $5 off per line. So for 4 lines, that's $20 right there. Just note though that in order to do this, in some cases, you may need to link directly to your bank account and not pay with your credit card. But honestly, maybe that's a good thing. So again, if your carrier offers this, definitely be sure you're taking advantage of this one. Plus, now you don't have to think about it and you won't get hit with any late fees. Next one is also very easy to do quickly. If you have moved recently by chance, make sure that you have the most current address connected to your account. Taxes and fees are actually dictated based on where you live in a lot of cases. So just by moving states, you might be able to save some money. Don't move states just to save money though. Let me give you a couple examples here. So I live in Washington State now, and actually if I were to move to Oregon, I've seen that I could save roughly $170 a year just in taxes and fees, and this is according to NerdWallet. And if you were going from Illinois to Wisconsin, apparently you can save roughly $105 for individual plans. The best part is you don't even need to pick up your phone to do this. You can do it in just a matter of minutes online. Next up, number 3 is to cash in on discounts that you might be missing out on currently. So if you're a student or you work for the government or military, or you're over 55 or 65 in some cases, you could be saving money right now automatically. You just gotta ask for it. The other thing to look into is if the place you work at offers some sort of corporate discount. So I remember a couple of jobs ago, I found this out in the welcome packet that I could get a 25% discount. All I had to do was contact them, tell them where I worked, and it was as easy as that, 25% off my bill. And if you're not sure, just ask. I think you could probably just send a quick note over to HR. Also, check with your credit union if you have a credit union. I've heard some credit unions do have a similar deal. Let me give you some examples here. So T-Mobile is offering $35 per line, or $70 for 2 lines for unlimited if you're over age 55. They're also offering 50% off as a military discount. A quick bonus tip here is to definitely shop around and check out any special offers. These are changing constantly, and they definitely want your business and to pry you away from their competitors. This one's no longer eligible, but what I found in doing some research was that switching to Sprint would give you an entire year for free for you and your family. So if you were on a family plan and you switched it over to Sprint, 1 year free, just like that. Again, this promotion is no longer available, but sometimes these do come back up. Okay, so we're to tip number 4, and this is when we're gonna start talking specific plans and pricing. All of this, of course, is very, very subject to change, so don't at me. I always wanted to say that. It didn't come off very cool. Number 4 is to consider moving to a family plan. Okay, so add lines. This might sound a little bit counterintuitive. Obviously your bill is gonna go up, but per person per line, it's gonna come down. And the best part is, in almost all cases, it doesn't have to be actual relatives or people that live under your household. You can do this with just about anyone. It's friends and family. For the carriers, it's more the merrier, so they're not gonna ask a whole lot of questions. Let me give you a couple examples here. So at AT&T, the unlimited plan is roughly $70 a month. This is with that auto pay discount that I mentioned, but before taxes and fees. 4 lines of the same plan at AT&T Unlimited cost just $40 per line. So you're saving $30 a person there in this situation. Same thing with Verizon here. It looks like 8 gigabyte plan is $90, but if you have 4 lines, that plan drops to just $37.50 a month per person. So the savings are even more with Verizon, it looks like. But of course, I will admit that if you're the one monitoring data usage and collecting the money from friends and family, that can be a bit of a hassle. So there is one sort of con here if you're the one stepping up to organize. So ask mom and dad too. And I'm a free agent, by the way. Just keep it in mind, fam. I'm gonna rattle off a few of the best family plans that I found out there right now. T-Mobile is offering 4 lines for $120. That's with that auto pay discount though. Cricket Wireless, you get 4 lines of unlimited data for $100. It's just $25 a line with Cricket. No hassle, super simple. Visible, same price if you do the prepay. Boost is the same when you switch carriers. It's that $100 for 4 lines. And more on these smaller carriers in the next tip. For the next tip, I'm actually gonna combine number 5 and 6. This is to consider switching carriers to one of the discount carriers. And number 6 is going to be to prepay for data. So I'm just gonna kind of put this all together for this one. Discount carriers. It's kind of like the store brand of cereal that you'll find. So it's like the knockoff version of the larger carriers. The larger carriers, of course, being Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile. And soon Sprint and T-Mobile are just T-Mobile. Just like the cereal tasting the same, these carriers are gonna provide pretty much the same exact service at a discount. Same sound quality, all that. And that's actually because they're using the same networks as those big carriers. Those big carriers figured out that at the end of each month, they have a whole lot of data that is sitting there unused, so they started selling off some of that data to these smaller carriers. Smart. These smaller carriers are what are known as M.V.N.O.s, Mobile Virtual Network Operators. The savings that they get on this data is then passed on to you, the consumer. Plus, the nice thing with a lot of these M.V.N.O.s is that they don't lock you into any sort of long-term contract. Okay, plans and pricing, and I'm gonna go through these very, very quickly because of course these are subject to change and they probably already have by now. For the best deals for single lines, first is Republic Wireless. And by the way, with all of these, they're gonna come with unlimited text and talk. With Republic, you get $20 a month and 1 gigabyte and $5 per gigabyte as you use it beyond that. Xfinity Mobile, $12 a month with also 1 gigabyte. This is perfect for a small data user. Both of those are. Unreal Mobile, $10, 1 gigabyte, and then 2 gigabytes for this one is gonna be just $15. Next, Project Fi, and this is actually a Google product. This is just $20, then $1 per 0.1 gigabyte used. So basically $10 per gigabyte extra, and that stays consistent. $40 would get you 2 gigabytes, $50 would get you 3 gigabytes, and so on. Plus, the nice thing about Project Fi is they're actually using multiple networks, so the service I hear is really, really good. Mint Mobile is becoming very popular, and I'm a little bit hesitant to recommend it because you really do have to read the fine print on their pricing. You get a really awesome deal, but just for 3 months. So depending on how long of a contract you want to sign up for, you can lock in some excellent savings. In fact, if you prepay for a year, you get 8 gigabytes at $240. That actually comes out to just $20 a month. And now you're seeing why I blended these ones, so prepaying for data is gonna come in handy. Best for unlimited, and this is for individuals, is I'm seeing several at $50 a month. These include Boost Mobile, Metro by T-Mobile, and Total Wireless. And for just $5 more at $55, I'm seeing Cricket and Straight Talk. Again, I think that these are all for prepay. If you really do want that Verizon network, most people believe that is the best service you're gonna get. You can go with Total Wireless, or Visible, or Xfinity Mobile. Those are all using Verizon towers. But if you want to prepay with Verizon directly, you can get 6 gigabytes for just $40 a month. Or again, go with Visible. That uses a Verizon network, and that's just $40 a month for unlimited. So for me, that's an easy choice. I would go with Visible over Verizon. And if you want unlimited data, and you want to go with one of those big 4, the best I've seen in terms of value and service, I would recommend T-Mobile and Sprint. I'm actually on the Sprint unlimited unlimited prepaid data. The best international options for you are Project Fi, T-Mobile, and Sprint, but keep in mind that you may end up paying a little bit extra depending on if you want the super fast speed or texting while you're abroad. Project Fi in my research does look like the best for international. It offers free data and text, but it does cost money to make calls if you use your phone for that sort of thing. That was a lot of information all at once. Links to all of these are going to be down below. And of course, definitely do your research. These pricing and these plans will definitely change over time. Next tip, I have to get this one out of the way. This is simply to make sure you are constantly using Wi-Fi. If you do not have unlimited data, you need to be really diligent about this. For example, are you watching this video and you're not on Wi-Fi? Don't do that. So be smart, definitely don't go over your data, monitor that closely each and every month. However, I am gonna give you something concrete to help you stay under your data limit, and that is to sign up for alerts. So even though I'm on unlimited, I actually get an alert every time I hit like 2 gigabytes of data or something like that, because Sprint actually throttles the speed down after you hit a certain amount. I wanna say it's like 5 gigabytes each month. So just go into your portal, see if you can set up SMS alerts so that you can be notified as you hit different data tiers. And definitely do this, because even just the teeniest, tiniest micro megabit, whatever they're called, extra is going to cost you as much as $15 right away. And then just generally speaking, be really aware of what types of things cost what amount of data. So if you're posting a Snapchat video, that's gonna use a lot of data. If you're downloading a movie for an upcoming trip and you're not on Wi-Fi, that's gonna use a ton of data. But things like opening a link that a friend texted you or listening to a song, that's not gonna use a lot of data at all. This next tip is super useful. This is to limit your background data usage. If you think you're not using data as you're out and about, odds are you likely are in the background. Sneaky, sneaky, your money's a-leaking. So you're gonna wanna go into the settings in your phone, look at cellular data usage and background app refresh. Make sure that that background app refresh is turned off. The other nice thing about this is it's not gonna drain your battery either. You can also though set it to only refresh or run while you're using the app itself. Don't block off data to the app completely, just only while you're using it. Let's say you're in line at Starbucks, you open up the Starbucks app to pay, it'll still work. By the way, if you're in Starbucks, make sure you're connected to the trusted Wi-Fi. I had to bring that one back up. Also, stop spending $5 a day at Starbucks. That adds up to $2,000, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna be that guy, but apparently I am gonna be the data police. Next up, this one's really straightforward, but this is to pay for your phone in full. Do not expand your monthly bill more than you need to. Only buy that phone when you earned it and you've saved up enough money to. I will admit that I do charge my phone when I buy it, but that's just for the points. I only do that when I'm able to pay off that credit card in full immediately. Definitely steer clear of rolling some or most or all of that brand new Sidekick into the total cost of that monthly bill each and every month. We're talking an increase on your bill of $30 to $40 just so you can have the latest and greatest shiny thing that just came out. Instead, what I recommend you do, even if that phone's not announced, if you know you're due for a phone this year, put it in your budget. So I put together a cost of living video in Seattle where I broke down my full budget for the year, and I actually only budget once a year, and this year I put in there to budget $1,000 at least towards my cell phone bill so I can save a small amount each and every month to get there. That brings me to my next point, which is to keep your phone longer. Cell phones were definitely designed to last more than 2 years, so stop replacing for each model. And honestly, don't even replace every other model. If you really want to save money, go for the third model. So if you have the 7, wait until the 10 comes out, for example. I definitely recommend though, you wait until your phone is truly ready to be replaced. But not so bad it's like broken and cutting your fingers when you use it. Okay, and here's the kicker of why you definitely should not roll the expense of that phone into your monthly bill. What happens if something happens to that phone or you lose it? Now you're gonna continue to pay for that phone and you need to pay for a replacement. That is a lose-lose scenario. Plus, for the most part, this is going to lock you into at least a 1, usually a 2-year commitment with that carrier, so you no longer have that flexibility to switch and save. So avoid having a higher monthly bill, avoid a long-term contract, avoid paying for 2 phones at the same time if something happens, and just buy your phone, paying for it in full. Next tip here is to consider a no contract phone, AKA a used phone. If you get stuck in a long-term contract, cell phone carriers are going to gouge you because if you want to get out of it, they can simply charge you a fee to get out of that plan. And a lot of times this is a big chunk of money, arms and legs. So buy a no contract, gently used phone. That way you can take it anywhere, and again, it's paid for in full. You might not have the latest and greatest phone, but you're also not gonna have the futurist expensive bills. So let's say you have the Model 10 and the Model 12 was just announced. That's actually the perfect time to go on Craigslist and see if someone is posting that Model 11 for sale at a really good discount. That phone was the latest and greatest just a couple of weeks ago. So that's something that I do personally. Every 2 years, I end up selling mine. And by the way, always sell your phone privately. You're gonna get a lot more money than if you were to trade it in when you upgrade. Next tip is to skip the premium insurance. There are some insurances I believe in, but definitely not their top insurance protection plan, yada yada, bells and whistle, tech support, blah, blah, blah. The standard insurance is going to be enough. Standard insurance is the least expensive option, and in most cases, it's going to cover almost anything that can happen to your phone, including if it was lost or damaged. So save a few dollars a month by going from premium to standard insurance. This is gonna add up to $80 or $100 in a year. Most phones do come with their own warranty right up front. Sometimes that's 90 days, sometimes it might be a year. Plus, remember this, in most cases, you're still gonna owe a deductible. So even if you're paying the insurance, you're likely gonna owe $100 to $300 out of pocket if you're having to buy a replacement. Now, there's also an option to just ditch insurance completely. So what I've seen is on average, it hovers around $11 even for the basic insurance. That's, if my math is right, $132 a year. Instead, take less than half of that amount and go and buy a really nice case to protect your phone. One like, for example, an OtterBox. So for me, what I do is in the first year of having a phone, I have that premium OtterBox case, and yeah, it's a little bulkier, but that's okay, it's protected. Then in year 2, I usually downgrade to something more slim, like this one. Oh, by the way, I have a 1-year used OtterBox case for sale for an iPhone X. Finally, this one is super simple. This is just to barter or ask for a discount. Sometimes it literally is that easy to pick up the phone and call your carrier, ask if they can offer any sort of better rate or plan or pricing. So if you've been a customer for a long time, just remind them that, see if any competitors are offering any super special pricing right now that they might be willing to match. Maybe hint at the fact that you're considering switching to save, that kind of thing, if you're eligible to do so, and just see what they come up with for you. If you're starting a new contract, for example, definitely ask if they're willing to waive any of those activation fees. From what I've seen, these can be anywhere from $30 to $50, and in almost all cases, they are willing to do that to have you on board as a new customer. I've even heard of people just asking via Twitter, and this has worked. Okay, so quickly, I'm gonna recap here those 12 tips. This is to sign up for automated payments and paperless billing. This is number 2, to update your service address. Number 3, to cash in on any discounts you might be eligible for. 4 is to start or join a family share plan. 5 is to consider switching carriers. 6 is to prepay for data. 7 is to get notifications about your data usage so that you don't go over and always use Wi-Fi. 8 is to go into settings and limit your background data usage. 9, pay for your phone in full and avoid those payment plans. 10, consider a no contract phone, aka buy used. 11 is to skip on insurance or change it. And 12 is to barter. Whew, that was a lot of information jam-packed into this video. I really do hope one or more of these tips will pay off for you and save you some money on your cell phone plan monthly. Let me know if you had success with any of these tips down below, and definitely be sure to share this video with someone else, maybe as a gentle hint. I'd love to join your family plan. Like this video on your way out if you appreciate all the work and research that went into it. Subscribe to The Money Resolution if you want to see more videos like this weekly. One video, for example, I recommend that I made in the past, actually about a year ago, was me calling Comcast and sharing how I saved, I think it was $35 a month on my cable bill. That one was really silly and awkward, but apparently people like it, so go check that one out next. Once again, my name is Frankie. This is The Money Resolution. Thanks for stopping by and getting all the way to the end. I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. So let's get to a fixin' that. So let's get to a fixin' that a righta nowa. So let's get to a fixin' that a righta now. Alright. Here's that Xfinity video. This one's next best for viewer, so it probably looks really good.